what I've got for y'all today is a nice little story about failure. So, let's begin. Long ago, in ancient Europe, there lived a king who ruled his kingdom with cruelty and evil and injustice. Within that kingdom lived a man. We'll call him Malachi. And Malachi didn't like the king. He despised the king. He wanted to start an uprising. He saw his people suffering, and he wanted a revolution. He wanted a new kingdom. So, he gathered his people who were suffering. He brought them together. He unified them. And he said, let's start an uprising. Let's defeat this king and his evil ways and gain justice for the people once and for all. So, he gathered his forces. He organized his people. He trained his men and brought the battle to the king's doorstep. However, they got there, and the king was well prepared with his forces, and they obliterated Malachi and his troops, scattering them, sending them back to where they came from. So, Malachi went back to his people. He said, we're going to start an uprising. We're going to start a revolution. Let's do this. He organized his people. He gathered them again, trained his troops, got them ready for battle, and brought the battle to the king's doorstep once again. And once again, the king was well prepared, and he obliterated Malachi's forces 10 times worse than before, scattering them everywhere, killing them all, and sending Malachi home with his head down, hanging low. He was terribly humiliated and befallen. He could not look at his people in the face anymore. So, with his shame, he took himself into the forest, and there he decided he would spend the rest of the days of his life sorry for himself and leaving his people to suffer. One day, while he was sitting in the cave by himself, he saw a little bug in a spider's web struggling to escape while the spider was trying to eat him. While he was watching, he saw the bug kick and fight back while the spider attempted to kill him. But the bug continued to fight and continued to battle, and eventually the bug escaped with his life and all of his limbs. Malachi sat there thinking to himself, and an epiphany came to him. So Malachi returned to his people once more, and he said, I've got it this time. We're going to defeat the king. He gathered his people tenfold of what it was before, organized his troops, carried them, encouraged them, and prepared them. And once more, he brought the battle to the king's doorstep. Only this time, the king was not prepared. Malachi and the king fought long and hard. Their forces battled, killing each other brutally and terribly. But in the end, the revolution was successful, and they overcame the king and his evil ways. And he gained justice for all his people. Now, what's the moral of the story here? Malachi failed again and again, but he felt sorry for himself. He was sad. He was a victim of the king's cruelty along with the others. And he was ashamed. So he sat in the cave. But my friends, the lesson here is to try again. You have one of two paths when you fail. You can take your failure and you can let it define you. You can let it shape you and you can let it mold you in all the wrong ways. And you can let that failure consume you and make you go live in a cave in the forest. Or you can take that failure, you can learn from it, and you can try again and again and again and use it as motivation to come back again and again. And I promise you, if you do not give up, you will succeed. The only real failure is throwing in the towel and saying, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Go out, try again and again. And do not give up on your dreams. My friends, failure is just part of the journey. And when you begin to succeed, you will see that the fruits of your labor are so sweet. And you will be so grateful that you came back to try again. Guapo out.